Balance was not a metaphor to Elevasori. It was a physical constant: gravity, friction, momentum. Every motion was an equation she solved in real time. So when her human partner, Kian Drogon, offered a hand across the slick rocks of the Mirren River, she declined. Unnecessary. Kian only shrugged, leaning against a tree on the far bank. Suit yourself. Don't blame me if you go for a swim. Captain will have my hide if you dump the sensors. The sensors are rated for 50 meters of submersion, Alla replied without looking up. Your concern is noted but unsupported. His laugh carried across the water. You know, for someone who talks like a technical manual, you've got a dry sense of humor. Humor is an unnecessary variable. By the time she stepped onto the muddy bank, she was already unpacking the next node. Work was the mission. Work was the purpose. But Kian's voice lost its cheer. Hold up. Check this out. Near the waterline lay the fresh carcass of a six-legged grazer, violet-stained and pierced by two perfect puncture marks. Glimmerfong, Kian muttered, suddenly wary. Ella crouched without hesitation, scanning the wound. Data overrode fear. The venom congeals, she noted. Localized necrosis. Inefficient. Yeah, he said grimly, eyes on the river. Tell that to the dead guy. Let's move. Ella was already turning back to her grid when the world betrayed her. A stone beneath her boot writhed, emerald scales flashing. Two searing needles punctured her calf. Pain ripped through her, an alien corruption that tore equilibrium apart. She cried out, collapsing into the soil as numbness spread like ice water through her veins. Kian was there instantly, hauling her back, shouting into his calm. The captain's voice cracked over static, followed by the cold monotone of the Talasi ship's doctor. Apply the stasis agent immediately. Kian pressed the applicator, but it failed. The venom resisted isolation, its biomagnetic properties fooling the nanites. There is no synthesized anti-venom aboard, the doctor concluded. I am sorry. Captain Mavic barked through the channel. Hold her together. Shuttle ETA, 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Alla's vision tunneled, her world collapsing into black edges. She thought, with detached logic, that the alien canopy above was a statistically acceptable final image. Kian stared at her fading vitals. Her words echoed in his head, ineffective delivery. Congealed? Localized. He drew his knife. Drag in report, the captain demanded. He ignored her. Logic and procedure had nothing left to give. He cut a shallow line between the fong marks, sealed his mouth over her wound, and began to draw. The venom tasted like metal and fire, searing his lips and tongue, but he spat it out again and again. Alla twitched, groaned, and the bridge of the breaker erupted in shock as her vitals stabilized. By the time the med shuttle roared in, Kian slumped beside her, throat raw, but he had bought the 6 minutes. When Ella awoke in the med bay, humiliation hit harder than pain. Kian sat nearby, mouth scorched but smiling. The doctor delivered the verdict. Her survival hinged on his crude act. Logical, fatal venom, undone by a barbaric method. Ella stiffened. Kian Drogon, I owe you a life debt. According to Talasi principle, it must be balanced. His smile faltered. No. We're teammates. You don't owe me anything. Her jaw clenched. An unresolved ledger creates dissonance. It must be settled. The captain later issued both a commendation and a reprimand. Heroism logged. Insubordination recorded. The matter closed. But for Ella, the debt gnawed at her like a splinter in logic. She watched Kian quietly, his patience with crew, the strain in his throat from lingering venom burns. An imbalance she could not erase. Dr. Helen's debrief was brutal. He prodded at their ordeal like a specimen, dissecting fear, hormones, and what he called An anomalous psychological intimacy. Afterwards, he warned her, leave the debt unresolved, and her logic itself might degrade. So Ella researched. Tearing customs of gratitude. Poetic metaphors. Intimate gestures. At last, she found one that matched the parameters. Non-material, personal, replicable. A kiss. She approached him in the hydroponics bay. Kian Drogon. My research concludes this is the correct reciprocation. Before he could answer, she placed her hands on his shoulders and pressed her lips to his, precisely as diagrammed. Short, firm, perfect, balanced. But Kian only stared at her, then smiled in a way that unraveled all her equations. That's only half. The other person participates. He cupped her face and kissed her back, soft and lingering, filled not with debt, but something far messier. Her ordered mind tumbled into chaos, yet beneath it bloomed a warmth she couldn't quantify. For once, logic had no place. And for once, she didn't mind.